Are you guys gonna have like a yak type thing once they leave? Are you guys
I don't know.
Do a daily...
I don't know. I was talking with Francis about that.
I saw another fucking podcast that looks exactly like it's like a no name, but Bert was on it, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
We should just rip it down.
I was thinking about it. You're like, just fucking change the wall. There's like 7 podcasts.
If we do anything,
the
just
wood panels.
stain the walls dark.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I think we just take an axe to it.
What?
The original idea was never this like basement like look.
It was
always like,
but
a
we,
retro,
like-
kind of like some SIGs
I feel
inside
like
type
none
look.
of us
Yeah.
would have
Never
said it.
this, and when I saw the paneling, I was like, well, that's not what it was.
Yeah.
But
We probably could just make it darker.
We make it darker. I think we'll just take like an axe to it and just.
It looks sick. Why are you guys trying to chop this down? It
Like,
looks
leave
fucking
holes.
sick.
It's just in like the podcast in our field.
Yeah, there's
There's
a
a
lot of
like-
comedy.
Are you getting
podcasts that all
feedback?
look the same.
Are you getting negative feedback about
it's
it?
not negative. It's just like this.
And it's not incorrect feedback. It is the same.
Right. They do look the same, but it's weird because they're like our friends.
Yeah.
They're like we're cool with them. So it's not like we jacked it. It's not like people are mad. They're not saying like, yo, you stole our swagger. But it's just like, well, I would like to have something unique, and it didn't turn out
But like a
unique,
sitcom set, every sitcom, you're
Yeah.
gonna walk in the front door and the fucking
Yeah.
couch is gonna
Right.
be there,
Well,
the kitchen's gonna be.
I mean, listen, if you don't watch or listen to a show because of the set or something, then like you're fucking crazy.
You don't
No,
listen.
I don't think anyone would do that. But I do think there is like personally when I walk in here, I'm like, looks like I've seen this a lot.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it is.
And like we've been in it for so long and always done our thing and been at the forefront of it, and then when you end up having something that's like for whatever reason, like we wanted this like 9 months, a year ago, whatever it was, and things just take a long time at Barstool because it's not the same, and then the Are You Garbage guys pop off, and these guys are able to make a studio quick, and this happens, and then by the time we get ours, it's like,
Damn.
like DeStefano has a new show that's called Super Retro, and it's all about like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and his set is in a like it's also kind of the flavor of the moment, which is also, I don't want to be that, you know what I mean? I want to be like,
Yeah.
you went left, we went right, sort of thing.
So how would you guys redesign it?
I don't know. Maybe we take an axe to
Just
it.
take an axe to it. Just fucking.
I also don't think this is like you can just take this down, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not like we.
Let's just destroy everyone's work.
It's funny. Like a week ago, I was like, there are plenty of like divas in this industry that would like as soon as they found out that it was like everyone else's, they would be like, start over, do it again,
Burn the
And I was
building
like,
down.
we're not like, thank God we're not those guys.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. I'm not.
We're like, take it down.
This is probably my most referenced thing on this podcast. I reference it all the fucking time.
Wait, let me see hang on. What do we think it's gonna be, Nick?
Kanye destroying the bar.
No.
No. His most referenced thing ever.
Oh.
Or
It's
one
from
of his
this
most-
show. It's not like a story. It's something we talked about on this show.
On
It was
this
a
show.
caller.
The bathroom picture. Yep.
There it is.
Yep.
There
Yep.
it is.
It's gonna eat
There
at
it is.
us. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
That. So this guy
It's new
called
for
up.
me. It's new for me.
This guy called up years ago, and he moved in with his girlfriend, and she hung a picture in the bathroom, and he just hated the picture, and he was like, "What should I do about it?" And John was like, "Break up." And he was like, "Cause
Leave
that
the
picture is gonna eat at you." And obviously exaggerating and being funny about it, but it's like when there's something that starts out small, but it just festers and builds and burns, and you can't. A picture you could take down, but if it's something you can't change or
But
whatever.
they discussed it.
she was like,
it's not coming down.
Like that's staying up, and he was like, all right, well then this is done. So like now
That
the
is
seed
the
has been
first-
planted, it's just gonna eat.
It's the
and
crack in
kill.
the foundation, and like eventually there'll be a hard rain. Our basement will be flooded.
Yeah. And that's how it begins.
Is that with
And you got a
everything?
shovel
though?
and
If you see a little something wrong, you can never like get rid of it. You can never ignore it.
I am a big believer in two things. One, like when people like relationships or work, relationships are like compromise. they're not work. If you feel like you need to like go to couples counseling and work and change and fight through like the bad times for a little bit, like then you just shouldn't date that person.
The only time you're not in the office is rush hour.
Yeah, right. When, that was
Clock
it
out,
for me.
get mad at the people's cars, get back home, clock back in.
Dude, when I really wanted to get to the office, that was when I knew. I was like, this is not a good sign. You know, like I used to love getting home, and now I like being at work. That's not, you know. And the other thing is, I guess they just kind of go hand in hand. Like pull the trigger. Like, and I this is way this is totally do as I say, not as I do, because I'm a pussy and I don't like to hurt feelings, and I don't want to be the bad guy, all that shit. But like when you know, and people will go on and continue to date for like years when they are like deep down they know.
Or like
know?
every life activity is to like bandage up the relationship.
Right. If the whole relationship is holding the relationship up, like
it's like we got to go on a trip to save our relationship.
Yeah, we got to have a baby, we got to buy a house.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, well, you don't have one. Then.
Dude, I was in one once where it was just like she woke up earlier than me, and every day I'd wake up.
That's a problem too.
And I'd
that
be
could
like,
be a problem.
It was like she was waking me up. Like I just wake up alone in bed, and I would just be like, "Man, what is she mad about in the other room?"
Yeah,
like,
Oh, you know already?
Like I just know because like she would usually just like lay in bed and watch TV or whatever, and but like 90% of the mornings she would be in the other room, and I would just be like, "Whew,
What's it gonna be?
I'm gonna have to find out what."
You didn't smell coffee or bacon. You
dude,
smelled a pissed off bitch.
bro.
What is
and
that?
it was
She's
That's
angry.
fight. That's
this was a
smells
girl
like fight in the morning.
who was at she worked at Barstool, and she would come to work as she worked in sales or whatever she did, and she'd come to work before me, so that's why she was always up before me. And I think I've told this before, where like the morning I knew it was over, where like it was like this led to the actual breakup, which led to the crying, blah blah blah. But like I was fat and I was in bed shirtless.
Was
Like in bed shirtless with my laptop propped up on my stomach, and she like came out like fully dressed like a
Business person.
like a business person for work. And she was like, "What time are you gonna go to the office today?" And I was like, I was like naked in bed, I had like one leg hanging out from a sheet.
Ball out.
I was like, I don't know, like I was still blogging at the time.
3 o'clock.
I was like, I'm writing a blog. Like I don't know, I'll fucking whatever. I don't know at some point. And she just goes, "Just lock up when you leave." And I was like, "Ooh, that
This
girl
is
hates me."
over.
Damn.
There really is. I think if you, especially these days with people working from home and shit, when I get to sleep in and you have to wake up early. My work day ends early. You have to work late. My commute's short. Your commute is long. And I hate to generalize, but it usually is a girl to a guy. Like when the guy has it easy, or the guy gets to have fun, or the guy gets to go away. I always said about like guys trips and girls trips, right?
100%.
Your girl says, "I'm going on a girls trip." You're like,
Have a
"Take
blast."
2 weeks, take 3,
Have
come
fun.
back next year." And you go on a guys trip. And it's like, "Where are you going? What are you gonna do? You're gonna be check in, all that
check in
shit."
every.
And that's just the nature of guys and girls too. But you, if you have fun without them, they don't like it, and that
Yeah.
can mean, like I said, if your life is easier than theirs, that's when you get the slamming of the
Built-in
cupboard and the
resentment.
cap. How you're not,
race.
I don't want to say newlywed, but relatively new.
I'm
to
a
the
year,
game.
like a year and
A little bit in?
almost 2 years in. Almost
Okay.
2 years into the game.
How is that going for you? Good.
It's going good. I mean,
She's a rocket, bro.
Yeah, thank you, bro. That's so
She's
nice.
just
to hear.
super hot.
That's so nice to hear. She'll love to hear that. Got to feed that ego. But dude, she's awesome. But she moved to New York for Barstool Sports. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like I'm here because of Barstool Sports.
That's a big thing, too.
She's here because of Barstool Sports, and so it's like more like we need to find shit.
pressure, bro.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like we need to find shit to do together. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like we need to. She doesn't have a base of friends in New York.
She's a Philly girl?
Yeah, she's a Philly girl,
Okay.
like Westchester. So all her
Yeah.
friends are there. Like
Right.
every single one of her friends are still back home, except for like one of her 15 friends. So it's like we need to like find shit. So I'm always just like scheduling shit. Like we've seen like every magician in the city. We're going to Broadway.
every
like, oh, this place has
That's a
a
good thing, though.
smoky cocktail. Or
Yeah.
something. So I'm trying to fucking do
Which
that
is so
shit.
funny because, like, as a guy, you'd be just so content to be like, I'll just sit on the couch.
I'll
and
have the
watch a
same
game
cocktail every single night. Dude. I don't need a fucking fancy
But they want to
green
see
drink.
new shit and do new shit.
Dude, the couch. We kind of talked about like last show. The couch to me has gotten very boring.
It's getting harder. Yeah, I've kind of come back around. The couch alone to me got like I used to be able to sit on the couch alone. I would finish up the blog day. I'm talking years and years ago.
Yeah.
Get all my blogs scheduled, be done work by like 2 p.m., and I would watch like an entire series of a TV show, you know? And I could do that like every day.
How would
Order
you
food.
sit when you were on the couch? Would you sit just like this, or would you lay all the way flat down, or like a hybrid position?
I was a big the chase part of the couch.
Yeah, that's where I go.
I sit on the L part. And
I've
I would
burned
sit
a
kinda
hole
like
in it.
this. Yo,
Like,
fucking did it,
bro, I sit like this. Because, like, that's how I sat for a while. So
that would literally
it's
give you,
kinda-
like, I swear to God, I think I have back pain because I've been, like, a slum monster on a couch. Just, like, fucking, just an asshole.
Dude, you want to hear some depressing ass shit? So I moved to New York I moved with a girlfriend. I moved in with a girlfriend like 3 years ago, and we're not together. And it was like, then for a year, I had my cousin who was like, "Do you mind if I crash for a bit?" And I was like, "Sure." And he crashed for a year. And then
That ain't the most Feitelberg ass shit you ever heard.
What's the
Stay for a little
setup?
bit. Year later.
It's a 2-bedroom.
Okay, so he had his own bedroom?
Yeah.
But he's crashing?
Yeah, no. I mean, he ended up helping out. But
Okay.
it started like, "Yo, do you mind if I crash for a month?" And I was like, "Word." And it was fine. You know, it was no big deal. But it was. But now he's moved out, and
Now you miss him.
so no. But now I just walk by. So like, you walk in my apartment. There's a bedroom on the right, living room. My bedroom's back to the left, and like, but that room's just empty now.
Yeah.
So now it's just like I walk by a empty ass room every morning,
Damn.
and I'm like, "Poof, this is depressing."
Yeah, that's-
like
sad
there's
as
literally nothing in that room right
Yeah.
now but a bottle of Lysol or something
And
like that. Like
an empty room is one of those poetically depressing things.
like it doesn't. It
inherently
does.
looks sad.
I could just close the door and probably like it wouldn't affect me as much.
Right.
But I almost leave it open like I want to feel the hurt.
You are a sick pup, bro.
Wait, why don't you put like a fucking desk or a closet or
I'll turn it
fucking
into something.
I will, but I won't use it.
Make
Like,
it a gym. You know, put the fucking light boxer in there and shit.
their light boxer is in there.
So all that happens in there is violence.
I have not used it in a long time because his shit's been all over it for a while. So maybe I'll get back into that and to be my angry room.
Make it a
Damn.
break room. Make it a smash room.
Yeah, you need to just
There
break
goes the
some shit up.
security deposit. Have you ever thought about if the situation was reversed? Sometimes I think about like as a guy, I never thought about like I've joked around about being a sugar baby and getting a sugar mama or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could ever really do it. And it just never was even like a thought to me that I would like move somewhere for a girl's job.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I don't know. You know, if it presented itself and it was like this makes the most sense. She's a baller who makes millions of dollars a year. We got to go here. But it just seems like one of those things as a guy. I don't know. Growing up, I just like never. That was just not going to happen. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Think about that.
I
I'm
always
sure
just
for girls
wanted
it's much
to.
more.
I wanted to do what I wanted to do, like so
Right.
bad, which is
Yeah.
like very selfish of me. But it's like I
But
wanted
that's
to
what
do.
I mean. It isn't. It is selfish, right? But I think it's most of us as guys just do feel that way.
But I think that if I could do what I wanted to do wherever, like I love coming into work. Like it charges me up every day, and I love having this office in New York. If we didn't have this office in New York and I could just like go live wherever, I think I'm at a point now where like I'd
Could
fuck
just
off
do
to
it.
like
Yeah.
Florida
Yeah.
or Charleston, South Carolina.
Would
or
you?
fucking-
You would bounce on like the East Coast?
I mean,
Northeast?
I would if I wasn't coming into the office every day.
Right.
But I like coming into the office.
right.
Like I value this. Like as everybody's like the diaspora of Barstool or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like everybody's fucking scattering to the ends of the earth. Like I still value being around here. But like if that wasn't a thing.
Regular people who like are like, "Oh, I don't go to the office anymore." I'm like, "How the fuck? Like the wall's not closing in on you."
Yeah.
We've said like the moment this office opened, I cut my 4th of July vacation short. I was like, because we got the email like July 6th, the office will open back in 2020. I was like, I will be there day one because I
Yeah.
can't do this fucking shit anymore.
I came back around on chilling on the couch when I like have someone to do it with, but solo dolo, I think I reached a depressing realization, and maybe this is just my personal life because there's been a lot of shit's hectic, but like when I'm alone with my thoughts, it's just
Bad
I'm just
news?
thinking- it's it's just not, and it's not. I mean, I do have to say that I've learned a little bit more about the whole idea of like money doesn't make you happy because it's like the bank account's a lot bigger right now and I'm still stressing over the same shit.
Yeah.
Still stressing about trying to make things work with my ex. Still worried about my kids.
A new
worried
problem will
about-
always present itself.
Always, bro. And it's some of it is real problems, some of it's fake problems, some of it's champagne problems. But it doesn't just be like you are just like I can't imagine. Maybe you're at this point. I don't know. You're not at this point where like how many like adults like wake up in the morning and are just like, I'm fucking happy with everything. Like life is good. I just feel like as time goes on, you have time to make more memories and more friends and do good things, but it's also just more time for shit to pile up, like health problems and work problems and family problems and shit. People die, people get sick, people get addicted, people fight, people and it's just more time for shit to worry about. Maybe that's just my personality. I pick up more worry than I do good, but I'm just like,
no, I know what you're saying, and I think that it's almost like an unfair binary where people are like, you're either happy or you're sad.
Yeah.
Like you're either sad or happy, and I think in a lot of ways, like you kind of pick what the thing that you're going to stress about at the end of the night as you're closing your eyes, like that's going to be something, and you just kind of have to like hopefully pick a path that leads you to the lightest things that are going to fucking stress you out.
That's where I'm at. Is like let me just minimize. Let me pick. I mean, I wake up almost every night at like 3 a.m. and I am just racked with anxiety, and I'm at the point now where I know that it's just like I can't tell whether that's my honest brain talking or my the good wolf bad wolf sort of thing. Yeah. I'm like, is this the real deal or is this the don't listen to that side of my brain? But I know it's gonna pass. I know I'll probably fall back asleep and wake up at like 8 and I'll be okay. But that that doesn't happen when you're fucking 23.
The scheduled anxiety attack.
Yeah, that's when you're.
He's got it on the Google Calendar. 2:30 goes off. It's like
I didn't
time to get up.
Consider the possibility that I would
time
be
to consider my mortality.
Even that, man, I was like, I don't, we're all young, and I'm like, wait a minute, well, a couple more years, I'm 40, and 40 is close to 50, and 50, I might die early. I'm dead at 60. This is over. I'm dead. It's like, what? I never thought I would, and I don't think I'm depressed or whatever, like some people are, but I definitely was like, I'm not gonna be an anxiety guy. I'm just gonna live life. It's fine.
Right.
And then it's like, nope. You too, bud. You're not special.
Yeah, you think you can't just muscle through and like pick, and it's like, no, that bitch is gonna come for you while you're sleeping.
Real.
Literally while you're sleeping, it's gonna
sleeping.
fucking creep up on you.
I also think that's where you like recognize the good years, the fun years, the easy years when you're early 20s and shit, because even the good stuff that happens. You get married, but that means you gotta like make a relationship work. You buy a house, that's great. Now you got fucking all these bills. You have a kid, it's amazing, but you gotta raise a kid. Like all of it just comes with more.
Check this out. I wrote a country song when I was fucking maybe like 13 years ago.
Okay.
It went like this. It goes, all the old timers say, get that vagina. You better get it while you're young. Here's a reminder, life ain't got no rewinder, so if she's right beside you, you better get it done. And it was like, I was 22, like realizing like
in the moment,
like damn, like you like I'd be at the bar next to these fucking dudes who are like 45. And, like, I would work at the bar, get my shift drink, and sit next to them. And they'd be like, man, you better fucking enjoy this shit, man. Like,
fuck these pussy, bro.
This fucking primo snatch that's all around you, man. Fucking enjoy
shit like that. You gotta get some gas, man. You gotta fuck that sweat. Like, oh, God.
I think I'm gay now.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to do this.
Last night, I went to dinner with my buddies. I was telling these guys before, my friends are an amazing group of guys who like really put in the effort. They have a monthly dinner. I go once every 2 years. They're there like every fucking
That's so
4 weeks.
sick.
And I pop in when I can, and they always, or when I want to, I guess, and they're always giving me shit for it. But anyway, long story short, we go out to a steakhouse. We go to a bar afterwards for one more. And there's this guy and this girl in this corner. And this bar is empty. We walked in. There was probably 2 people at the bar, one like booth of people, and that's it. And then this couple. Mm-hmm. And they sucked face. They made out. Hands in the hair, down the body, like caressing faces. I'm not kidding. 20 minutes, lips connected.
Oh, God.
And so it started like that. I was like, this is despicable. And then I was like, good for these fucking people. And then it went so long, I was like, my man's lips are chapped. I started to worry about his fucking lip health. And I was like, and I was thinking, like, how many times were you, like, in a position, not quite to that extreme, but where it was like, go home, dude. The deal is sealed. Like, she wants to hook up with you. And for whatever reason, you're just
He's
still,
probably just
like,
loving life, though.
Yeah.
He's probably like, there is no more than this.
Right.
Like,
well,
you know what I mean?
I started to make up a whole story for them. I'm thinking, like, what if, these two work together? and being out at a bar making out is more scandalous
It's
than being behind
dangerous.
closed doors.
They're not even
so
trying
making
to
out
fuck.
on that couch is like hotter than having
They're trying to
sex
get
back in
caught.
the apartment. Yeah, like who fucking knows what it is? But I said I don't think I've kissed that much this like year combined. And my
Yeah.
friends were like, 10 years, decades. I had not kissed this much since I was 23. I almost went over. I was like so close to being like, can I interview you guys? Like, it was
you guys
wild.
can't stop.
But
Your
even that,
stamina.
there was a part of me that, I remember being at a bar like heavy petting, making out with 2 times that stick out in my life. Where one time a bouncer and one time a bartender came over and like gave me the tap on the shoulder and was like, "You need to leave."
Dude,
Like,
really?
this is inappropriate. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done.
One time-
I've never been a kisser.
I was at Stout, March Madness, arguably the best day of my life. Like my friend, we all had like, we got to the bar like noon, drank till fucking midnight, racked up like the biggest bar bill we had ever had at the time.
That's sick.
It was like we were all in, it was just like, when you think that like being at a bar for March Madness when you're 23 years old is like the greatest thing that's ever
The best
happened.
day. So
Yeah.
a lot of years, the best day of
right,
the year.
right.
Yeah.
And like the hottest girl at the bar was into me for some reason, and we were just sloppy, like
Hot mouth.
hot mouthing. Second base, rounding second base, sliding into third. And that bouncer was like, bro, he was like, you gotta go. Like, you get it, right? And I was like, totally. Totally. He was basically like, I'm doing you a favor. Put this girl on the cab and go the fuck
wrong.
home. And then there was one that was a little too recently for that kind of behavior, but
Dude, back in the day, I remember Dan and I had dueling blogs where I wrote a blog like, "Don't kiss me," and it was about. And I actually, funny enough, I remember a line I had in it where it's like, "If our clothes don't start coming off
within a certain amount of time,
within a minute, like stop spitting in my mouth," and I stand by it. Just take the second part off. I've grown up a bit since then.
What don't you like about it? What describe what you?
It's just like, I don't know. Like, it is.
well, don't get me. I mean, it is fucking super bizarre.
It doesn't make any
Like
sense.
the fact that he has to defend why he doesn't like it is crazy.
It's just- I just
what,
give-
what don't I like? We're putting each other's tongues just sitting in our mouths while our spit is mixing up. Like,
I'm
it's
not-
fucking bizarre. That's a custom that every human does.
I'm not grossed out by it, to be honest. I'm just bored by it. I don't. It doesn't rev my engine. It is.
Well, you gotta start nibbling some lips and shit, bro. You gotta
Yeah,
mix
no,
it up
I
a
do
little.
that, bro. That's like fucking 3 seconds in.
Yeah, I know.
I'm nibbling a lip right away.
That's why.
dude.
That's why.
If
When I tell you,
down.
If that's first second, if this bases to kissing, I'm going big fly
Right
first
away.
pitch.
Yeah.
like
Bat flipping.
like
Yeah.
dude, I'll fucking nibble in the first 10. I'll hit the neck in the first 25.
Yeah.
I'm in your
Damn.
ear in
Yeah.
40.
You're
Right.
speed running a makeout.
and then I'm like, all right, like this is, we checked this box. Let's fucking move on.
When I tell you it was 20 minutes.
That's-
like think about give me like a NBA backcourt 10 seconds.
Yeah,
If you
the clock.
have your mouths connected for that long, that's crazy. You know?
Yeah.
Like you
You need
are.
a
You're
shot
like, what
clock,
am
not
I?
a
what are
whole
we-
half of basketball. 20 minutes is a half.
I was like, this is one of the most impressive and altogether disgusting things I've ever seen.
Embiid put up 26 during their fucking game.
racking up numbers. We got to be the only animals that kiss, though, right?
I feel like I have Googled this, and I think that there is somebody else that does like something similar. Do other
Most animals don't even look at each other. Much less kiss.
Elephants
Many
put their
animals
trunks
actually-
together. That's-
What's up?
Yeah, there's like
Elephants.
elephant kisses and butterfly kisses and all that shit, but like mouth to
Well,
mouth.
okay, but here you also got to understand, like dogs sniff each other's assholes.
Right, which
That's
is
kissing.
It is.
Actually, humans just sniff each other's assholes these days. But like that's their version of kissing. You know?
Yeah.
Like
Damn. That's their kissing?
one animal kisses just like we do, the bonobo ape.
Yeah, because
Interesting.
they're us.
Yeah, that's like the one step away from us. You know.
I wonder what. I
Bonobo.
wonder who came up with that shit.
Ape.
I wonder who was in the lab. trying
That
to
is like,
fucking-
there's all that stuff. Of like,
Yo,
who-
dog, these guys kiss.
There's the apes.
Yeah. It's fucking.
Oh, that's dude. I want that kind of love.
This is missionary while fucking kissing.
Are they fucking?
No, I think they're just
I think
fucking
he's just
tangled
eating
up
his
in the
tongue.
sheets, dude.
Yeah, this is great. Shout out to these amps.
I'm fucking all boned up.
I could masturbate to this. I could masturbate.
You don't like kissing, John?
I think, he's like deep throating the snout.
Yeah,
I think I could probably come to that. I swear to God.
There
I'm
is
damn near 40, bro. I can come to bonobo waves.
You need that.
There is a part of like back in the day with like porn and shit on the internet. It was like, like fucking intense stuff. And now I'm like, damn, look at them kissing.
Yeah.
That's raw.
Kiss are good, bro.
It's fucking dirty.
Once you caress, man.
These germs are
I used to say like watching like those like X videos or whatever they were called. No,
I know what you're talking about.
it was like
talking about
Passion
Love,
Lovemaking.
Passion X or something.
Passion
like
X, yeah.
oh.
I'd be like, that shit's fucking gay. And now I watch that, I'm like, damn, look at those
that.
people in love.
I don't get who. I think people made those thinking that's what chicks want to watch, and I don't think chicks want to watch that either. I think chicks want to see weird, wild shit too.
Yeah, but
Like,
I've
who
seen
wants
all
to watch
that.
like slow. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like
I'm picturing the guy on the other, like a genius, like Nick who has like a steady cam and is like rack it in or something.
Dude, it's like what you said, where you're like, you just like for the talking part.
Yeah.
Like you hit an age where you're like, I'm just here for the therapy. Like, tell him you love him. Tell him he's a good man.
I appreciate how hard you work for the family. Oh my God! I understand that you've actually sacrificed quite a bit. Oh man!
Just fucking get in his ear and whisper you recognize how hard he works and that you understand his stress. I'm like, fuck
That
yes!
shit is hot. A genuine compliment.
Yeah,
just on the eyes.
Say those pants
Don't
look
tease
nice
me.
on him.
Don't tease me, man. Fucking A.
Say the pockets aren't too big on his pants.
Pockets are too big on you.
You had some monsters
They're
yesterday.
just all together
too.
too big, bro. They're fucking iPad pockets. They're crazy.
Yeah, I was sitting at the comfy chairs out there, and I just saw two pockets approaching.
Game time is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. It has been created by fans for fans. Game Time is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. They also guarantee the lowest price. There are some must-see events coming up this spring, namely the Boston Celtics in the postseason, the Boston Bruins winning the Stanley Cup, the concerts, baseball games, Sox, Fenway. I heard Fenway had their lowest attendance since like 2000 maybe. Recently, obviously non-counting pandemic. That means you're going to have plenty of Game Time seats available for Fenway. It is the best thing to do in the spring. We also have Drake on tour, Billy Joel, Mets, Yankees. Fucking, you want me to talk about some real shit I care about? We got fucking Taylor on tour. We got Fall Out Boy on tour. We got, I think, All Time Lows on tour. Everyone's touring. It is possible to get into these events with the Game Time app. It is the biggest last-minute price drops. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. The purchase process takes just 2 taps and 10 seconds, and once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone, no printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text so you can get into the game seamlessly. Skip the hassle and enjoy the moment. Download the Game Time app or go to the website, enter your email, and redeem code KFC for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply.
Yo, so how was the Trump rally?
Dude, it
How's
was
that Klan rally you went to?
it was dope, bro. But they really had both sides going. Like both.
Literally, right?
They
It was
split
like
them up down the middle, and there was like a chasm in the middle,
Yeah.
and they like split them like it was no man's.
You know
land,
what
like
that
a
reminded me of? The first of all, my favorite part of the person in that video was the black chick in white face who was just like, "Tell me you love me, I'm a white woman. Tell me you love me, I'm a white woman."
Do you want to smell my diaper? Like saying like the most ridiculous shit.
But when you cut to that part when you're showing the two sides, it was so clearly like it's not even reminded me of. It was like I think they just stole this from this episode, Always Sunny, when they do the abortion, pro-life, pro-choice, and they're bouncing back and forth to see who's going to give it up easier. I was like, dude, I'd have fucking...
It was exactly that. Everybody was a caricature. Nobody was like talking about the issues or whatever. People have like their talking points, like they're Woody getting the string pulled in their back, and they're just like, "You're all pedophiles," or whatever. Like, "I hate human trafficking." It's just the same.
It's crazy how much the world has learned from politicians and internet and shit. Like, just stick to your talking point and don't engage in the other questions, and that's it.
Especially Trump. But I do think, though, that he doesn't have an army like he used to. I think
so?
that he might have an online army, but I don't think that he, after the January 6th shit and people are going to jail, I don't think that he could, like, at the drop of a hat, galvanize a massive group of people and have them, like, rushing the streets.
That was always, I think, a little, right? Like, didn't he like, rented out an arena and then only, like, a couple thousand people came?
Yeah.
I think it's always been more online. The crazy thing is that is almost what matters more, you know?
Yeah, oh, totally.
Like,
I got on Truth this week. I, like, downloaded Truth.
He's on Truth Social?
Yeah.
When it starts, you have to follow 2 people? So we followed Trump and Melania.
I didn't even know any of the other people.
Here's
It's
the
like
question.
brands
Do you
and-
think there's anybody on Truth Social that does not follow Donald Trump?
Probably. I mean,
Probably not, right? He said he has like 5 million followers.
probably not. I guess.
Like,
Yeah.
I would imagine the full Truth Social was 5 million followers. Then.
Did you see how much they lost?
How much
It was
money
like
they lost?
yesterday.
Truth did?
Yeah.
Because of yesterday?
No.
Because of the
There's
indictment,
like
or-
a story came out yesterday or earlier this week, whenever it was. They've lost $700 million, and I read that and I'm like, well, how the fuck is Barstool only worth $700 million then? Like, we actually make money.
Bro,
Like,
we make,
it was.
we did $200 million a year of revenue, I think, the last couple of years. To $200 million revenue and you get sold for $600 million is insane.
Yeah.
We should be like billions of dollars. Do you hear that? Somebody?
No,
You
isn't
have-
your valuation supposed to be like 10x of your revenue or something like
Yeah,
that?
something crazy. Like it's not supposed to be a close number. when your total value.
Yeah. Penn's
we're
gonna
always
make their
getting
money
fucked.
back before we get around to fucking taking an axe to this wall.
But it's probably like buying a house in a flood zone. It's like fucking the risk insurance.
Yeah.
Like, is Dave gonna
I
say some
guess
crazy
so. Right,
shit?
right. It's like you should be worth 10 billion, but we know you're gonna fuck this up somehow. You're gonna have a golf party or some shit.
We were saying last night that
Live.
Zuckerberg once described Twitter as a clown car that
Facebook, right?
What?
He said Twitter or
No,
Facebook?
Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's like, it sucks.
Oh,
They're idiots
ours is
over
better.
there.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So that Twitter was a clown car that crashed into a gold mine. And I was like, that also perfectly applies to Barstool
Really
Sports.
does.
100%. Oh, they even more to Barstool Sports
I
than
hate
Twitter.
to even, I mean, it's not. I guess it's not a secret, so it's not like I'm exposing anything. But like, there are times where I'm like, I can't believe this worked out even a little bit, let alone to the tune of $600 million. Like,
I know.
like nobody's doing anything. It's truly the emperor's new clothes. And obviously, I'm joking. There's people who work hard, but you would think that's another thing. I guess I've learned is like, over the years, you start to learn that everybody is snaking it. Everyone's a fraud. You know what I mean? Like the smartest teacher is like just like a hungover dude who is like whatever.
What level do you think that gets to? Like, do you
think
think
every
that
level,
like
bro.
Bezos is snaking it?
I think on every level there is. I mean, if you look at Elon, like prior to Twitter, I would have been like, this man, he puts fucking rockets in the air. He's like a genius. He knows what he's doing. And then he gets on Twitter and it's like, this guy's just a dickhead. I think there's levels to it, but I think at every level in every profession, maybe not like surgeons. I don't know if there's a surgeon out there who's like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Oh, for sure.
But
I think there are, dude.
Right?
Because I think a lot of it's becoming like machine.
True.
Like, you
the
can,
laser does it for you or whatever.
Bro, I got a
Arms.
buddy who's in surgery all the time. He's not a surgeon. He like sells medical equipment.
Right.
So he has to be there in case the equipment breaks because he knows how to fix it. And my guy's in surgery hungover all the time. Like, if you're feeling comfortable at your next surgery, don't. There is someone in that room
Yeah.
not operating at full brain
Imagine
capacity.
that. Where,
If things go awry, they
that-
can't help.
Has he ever tried? Has he ever had to fix it?
I'm sure, yeah. I don't think we ever
You think
talked
so?
about it, but
I
yeah.
wonder if it's one of those things where it's like, I didn't think this was ever actually gonna break.
Yeah, I guess
Like,
now that
fuck.
like since he doesn't have like a story at the ready, maybe
Fix,
he has
fix the robotic arm right now. This
Yeah.
person's gonna die. It's like, oh man, I don't.
My
Yeah,
wife's
that's
in-
true. I guess if there was some
we have a
really
YouTube on
chaotic
this?
situation, he probably would have told me.
Yeah.
My wife's in medical device sales, and she.
Oh, does she do it too?
She does too.
Okay.
I came home one day and she was like, "Here, like, put on this headset." She gave me basically like the VR headset, like the Oculus,
yeah.
and gave me two, what are they called? Whatever the fucking
hand
controllers.
toggles.
She gave me two toggles, and she was like, do the surgery. And like she literally, I like literally went under the hood and was like grabbing the scalpel and like doing everything. And that's all it is. These surgeons are literally playing video games in there, dude. They could probably be hungover.
Did you do it?
I was doing. I got bored.
Did you see?
I was like, this shit is fucking boring. I gotta go.
Did you like complete the surgery though?
No,
like,
I'm saying I left early because I was like, I get it.
Yo, when you hear about like some crazy surgery that's like they were in surgery for 12 hours.
Yeah.
By hour 2, that guy's gonna be like, oh, my hands are cramping up.
Like, put something on.
I'm sure there's a rotation or whatever. I'm sure it's not 12 straight hours, but you got to be like, it's like that couple kissing eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're either dead or alive. We can't do this anymore. Yeah.
This guy's 78. Are we really worth it?
Doing this? Or it's like somebody's machinery broke and a drunk medical device salesman couldn't fucking fix it. It was supposed to be a regular procedure, and now you're in there for half the day. Brutal.
But it was
fun yesterday.
Trump was a little bit smaller crowd. I think it's a wrap for old Donnie Boy, but I do think this was a misplay. Like I don't think this is gonna stick, and I think anything that doesn't kill you makes you stronger, sort of thing. Like I think he'll take it and run with it if he beats.
I
these
don't
charges.
think it's a wrap. I think that this is going to strengthen him.
So that's my point. Like I think it will strengthen him. A lot of people are being like, "This is how he's gonna win again." I just don't think he'll be able to take it to the finish line. But I don't fault you for thinking that because it does feel like. I don't like the guy. I don't really care one way or the other about a lot of the shit. But when I saw what they were even attempting to put on him, I was like, even if he's guilty, I don't think that's that bad.
Other presidents must have done that.
Everybody has done what they're talking about with misappropriation of funds. It's like when I realized he didn't do it with anybody else's money, it's just like what he did with his own money and how he paid back people out of money from this pocket instead of this pocket through his. I was like,
I thought it was
who
his
fucking
campaign
cares?
donations.
But even that to me is like every
Michael Cohen
politician
paid
in the
for
world.
it. He classified it as a campaign donation. They looked into Michael Cohen. They found this was a campaign donation, but Trump paid him back for it. Mm-hmm. So it was like labeled like on a tax document as a campaign donation, but it's not like no money came out of his pocket.
To me, if it's like literally, if you're talking about like those dollars, I guess those were a campaign. But if it's like almost like a money laundering thing.
I think he would have been bribing her regardless of running for the campaign. That would be my defense.
Right.
Like he was going to bribe her anyway. I was going to bribe her anyway. It had nothing to do with me running for president.
I fucked a porn star. We were going to do this no matter what.
If he got to that microphone yesterday, and instead of saying not guilty, he said, "Still beat though."
Like real close to the mic. Yeah. Still beat though.
Real quiet. Like look both ways. Pause for a minute. Still beat.
I've hated that motherfucker for longer. It was never about politics. Sure, the xenophobia came into play at some point, but I was anti-Trump like fucking 15, 20 years ago because I just hate fucking new money dickheads. And anyone with a gold toilet and that gold fucking shit, I'm like, fuck this guy. He's old money and acts new money. You're a real piece of shit. Yeah. Like I don't even like Mac Miller because he had that Donald Trump song, and I was like, oh, like he ended up changing it too. But I didn't like Mac Miller because he thought Donald Trump was aspirational. I was like, fuck that. But if he said still beat though,
yeah,
he's got my vote.
Simple as that. It's that straightforward.
The judge starts slamming the cow. That's not the question. But I still beat though.
That's honestly what you like. It's like when those comics go on like morning TV shows, and they fuck with them on purpose. It's like I'll benefit more from this if I just do some silly shit. I don't really care about this. Let me take this opportunity. I know the whole world's watching. Let me say some shit right now. I want to take this moment to announce still beat though.
What the fuck?
She says I got a fucking mushroom tip, orange little dick. Still beat though. Cohen fuck my campaign finances. Still beat though.
Imagine you go through all 34 counts. Still beat though. Still beat though. Still beat though.
That would have the MAGA people firing off automatic weapons like insurgents.
Yeah. Kid Rock would have a gun in one hand, his dick in the other.
That would change shit. That would be incredible.
That would be too good to deny.
And that's why
given the White House right now.
I do think we're kind of goldfish. Like I think that it'll be 4 years once the next election comes around. I think we will have forgotten most of the uncomfortability uncomfortability that existed within the country when he was president. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think there was a lot of more uncomfortability than there is now, I would say. And I think people will forget that shit and be like, it was fun.
Well, that's the thing is he's got to be funny again. Because that was like the thing that had a lot of people was just like, he didn't speak about any of the topics, but did you hear what he said about Bloomberg? That shit was funny or whatever. You know what I mean?
That's why you guys need to get on Truth, bro.
He's spitting bars.
He's cracking jokes every
I
5
applaud
minutes.
him, man. For a dude who was as self-centered as he is, to have what did he? I want to say, did he have like 100 million followers on Twitter? Was it that high?
I couldn't tell you.
But whatever
I'm
it was.
flabbergasted by
Probably.
whatever amount of followers
I think it was like.
his
tens of
Twitter's active
millions.
again. He doesn't use it, but he's back on Twitter.
Let me see, because
Oh, it is?
Yeah, because
Elon-
that's what I mean.
Elon-
For him to 87-3, for you to have to be the biggest egomaniac of all time, and you got 87 million people, all of them who are gonna you could tweet, Kafefe, and they're gonna suck your dick.
Yeah.
And he's just like, nope, I do it on Truth Social. I'm like, that's some self-control, bro. That's actually.
But I think
can't
there's an
believe Donald
element-
Trump of all people can do that.
I think there's an element on Truth Social where it is a perfect echo chamber,
Oh, yeah.
and there's nobody
No
on there
pushback.
who's like, "Sir, resign.
Yeah.
You're a tyrant, sir."
Yeah.
And on Twitter, I mean, I don't know how much he saw
I-
that or had to deal with it if he's scrolling the.
Yeah, I think he gets off on that shit
Timeline.
too, though.
What?
The haters and he wants.
Yeah, those people are scary people. Anyone who gets off on haters, I'm like, I don't fuck with you.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. Because I don't think
you don't want to be liked.
Yeah,
like isn't that the goal to be just be liked by people?
99% of people who are kind of like my haters fuel me or whatever. Like you're fucking.
You're lying.
If you want everyone to like your shit. Like your
NBA
game,
players,
like
dude,
your- yeah.
those guys care. Those guys
Totally.
hear what people are saying to them, and they fucking read what people are saying online, and it hurts their feelings.
Yeah, yeah.
Every one of
Kevin
them.
Durant has been trying to tell people like, this is just Twitter, bro. I'm just having fun on Twitter. You're hurt. Your feelings are hurt, and they should be because people are really mean to you, and you're fucking awesome. You have the right to. But I do think there's like that 1% of people, and I think he's one of them who is like, I love it. Yeah.
A true.
I mean,
heel.
I guess when you do win consistently, it's like it's fun to, you look at Dave. Like Dave, pretty much always wins. So he's like, it's probably like I'm gonna beat this person, and he does it every time, and then it makes it fun.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
like,
he enjoys it sometimes, but I think even like with Dave, I think there's some things that he'll say that the response might stress him out a little bit.
the stress. Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's not
right.
probably not everything with Trump, but there's probably some shit where he's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
The Mexicans.
I had the World Baseball Classic shit for me was a weird that was a kind of like a almost like the end of an era for me where I was like,
I'm not doing this shit anymore.
Yeah, well that and also, but I also like fully learned there was good and bad. The bad side was like, I'm not doing this anymore because I wanted to talk about should you play in this tournament when you have a pro team? That's a sports argument. Everyone would be like, let's Barstool Sports, bro. Like, let's talk about that. And it turned into racist, misogynistic, xenophobic, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, this is fucking crazy. But the good side of it was all those people digging up shit on me and trying to like take me down. Didn't matter. Like, didn't fucking matter.
Too big to fail. Yeah.
I don't know if it's that or if it's just that it's just that echo chamber and there's a bunch of people being like, we got him, and it's like that's you and 7 other people just fucking loving it, and it just doesn't translate to the real world anymore. I think there was a time where we said like the internet is real life, and I think maybe other areas of the internet you can't just like ignore it, but like the biggest shit, the best shit, the worst shit can go down on Twitter, and you come up for air and you ask somebody who maybe they're even on Twitter, but they're just not looking at your shit, and they're like, "What are you talking about? I didn't even know.
I
didn't even know that was happening."
I had forgotten about that shit by now. Like as
Done.
far as
Over.
for you know what I
Right.
mean. No one, if you like miss a cycle, like if you just like watch movies for a couple days,
Yes.
like the shit will
It is
fucking
funny.
go away.
You do miss like, and sometimes I my favorite thing is when shit's going down and I'm not in it because it was such a long time where I was always in it.
Right.
Even if whether it was me or like ricochet shots, but when it was like, ooh, someone else is like gonna have to fight this fight. Like I watched the Dave Angel Reese thing from a distance and I was like, this is good entertainment,
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Somebody was like, you need to like chime in. I was like, you fucking crazy.
It's how quickly like you forget like we're like really like just monkeys like surrounding like the two monkeys fighting,
Yes.
and you think that once like one of those monkeys like got out of the fight like fucking ripped up, scars and everything, bleeding, that they'd be like, man, I'm not gonna fucking cheer for another monkey fight, and then two monkeys start fighting, you're like, ah!
Monkey fight. That's really
Exactly,
we're
bro.
all just out here rooting for monkey fights.
Yeah, it's so
I
crazy.
feel like I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that.
Even that stresses me out. Like I don't even do that anymore. Like,
Yeah,
like
you're
the date
good.
stuff. Like that,
I
I
swear.
didn't pay attention to that.
I mean this with all sincerity. Everybody should strive to be like Feitelberg.
Yeah, you're the monkey that walked away.
I mean this with all sincerity. No, you.
I know, but I know you're saying that, and like, you from day one have been like, don't read comments; they're gonna hurt your feelings. Like, stay out of your DMs. That's not your business. Like,
You must have two parents that love you or some shit, though, bro. There's like no way.
But even like when there was that. I do it a lot for 1 Minute Man where I'm like, the internet is saying, people are saying this happened, and he's always like, are they really though? Or is that just like an echo chamber of a few people? And all of these things I think people are like starting to learn after you're on the internet for like a decade or more. He's been
The only thing that
on that
stresses
tip
me
for
out-
a long time.
Because I've like stopped looking at my mentions at all, and the only thing that stressed me out today, I was stressed a little bit because Gaz sent a tweet about my blog about the fucking
Making
third
fun of the
floor.
company
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
and I just replied to Gaz, and I just did like the Sun with Milton Tuff, and then like Uranus or Pluto, whatever the last one is
Sure.
now, was Miami Paul.
Good meme. Oh,
Could have been fun.
and I got in the shower, and because I don't check my mentions, I can't really see what's going on in it. So like if I miss his reply on my main feed, I won't see it. So and like if you're gonna go to war with someone,
Gotta be-
Gaz has all the bullets on me. So like even right now, I'm like, did Gaz reply to that at all?
And he probably did.
refresh. Yeah, no,
But what's
that's the
how
wrong
did
guy.
you because I think that you like A, not reading the comments, and B, not even looking at your mentions now. I think that that's a mark of someone who's well adjusted. And like I'm trying to figure out how you got to being well adjusted.
It's very easy. It was out of order. It was when we filmed out of order and shot out of order. I still haven't seen the final product, but I was in the room when we did it, and I was like, "This is good." And if there are 99 good comments, you're gonna remember the bad ones.
This is
and I was like, I will. If one person's like, "This fucking sucks," it will affect how I do it forever, and it's something I want to keep doing.
Yeah.
So like, don't let that get in your head. And so we put it out. People texted me. You texted me. I was texting with you the night it came out, or the night before it came out.
Right.
And I was like, "This is very nice of you to say," because I was stressed.
he
as fuck.
said that your text message was like what calmed him down. He was like, I was
And
just,
bro,
like,
was I
staring at the
lying?
wall, like,
Like everyone loved
yeah.
it. Like
Well,
was I
but-
lying?
okay, this is the other thing I really respect about him. He's like, if you're not gonna listen to all the hate, you can't listen to all the dick sucking either. Because if you believe that, you got to believe. And I push back on him on that because I think it's a lot easier to just say, fuck you, this sucks, than to say, I sat down, I watched your show, that part was awesome, that part made me funny, this is great. One of those is sincere, one of those is people being an asshole. But I also do love that, like, I do respect that. It's like, if you listen to the love, you got to listen to the hate too. So he's fair on both sides of it. That's the most mature thing you do about it.
I get, yeah.
But the main thing, I had a revelation where I was like, if you read these comments and shit, you're going to do your job worse and you will make less money. You will be less successful. You will not reach your goals. And you're going to do that. Like, you're just going to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Because
That
of
to
like
me
literally
is-
your ego striving for people to like tell you you're good and like
Yes.
worthy or
Yeah.
whatever. But it's like
But
if
what you when you were like, I just like,
I knew it was good.
This.
Like I was like, this was good.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not gonna let someone convince me otherwise. And I realized that once that I didn't plan to not read comments or not read mentions anymore. And then I was like, but I'm taking a few days off because I don't want someone to tell me it sucks and that's gonna fuck with me. And then I just realized I was like, we did like a podcast after it, and I was still in my like 3-day window where I'm not reading it. And I was like, I feel better about that show. And then like I wrote a blog or two and I didn't read anything. I was like, because like I know I don't think everything I do is great. I
Right.
know when I do bad stuff.
Right.
But like when I put out something good, I'm like, I don't want someone to tell me about it. I've been doing this for 13 years now, 14 years now, whatever. I know what's good and I know what's bad. So when I put out something good, why read the feedback? I'm like, I think it was good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
but
good at calling
that's
it
what
hit.
I'm saying. It's very admirable because like most people need the outside validation. You know?
Yeah,
It's not enough for you to say.
I'd like to have the if I could just filter out the good, maybe
Well,
I'd listen
so
to it.
that's
But
what
that one will fucking
This is
stick
what
with
drove me
me
crazy. So I'm like the number one fucking out of order hype man. I'm the number one. I am so bad at promoting my own shit. But if one of you guys do something and it's a great video, I will blast it out and I'll hype it up.
Yeah, look
I'll
at our
talk about it.
guys just making stuff.
Yes,
Look at our boys.
I love other people succeeding more than myself, and I feel awkward pumping my shit, but I'll do everybody else's shit. And so I was like, I know, Fights is not even gonna look. I know Sass is looking and probably going crazy.
Yeah, he is determining his self-worth like by the character that he's reading. Like, good man.
Yeah, it's literally in real time. I know Owen is emotional about it, and so I was like, I'm gonna read the feedback. And Owen said to me, "Thank you for filtering out all the good stuff," because I was sending him screenshots, I was sending him screen recordings, and I was like, "Bro, this was not filtered." I was like, "Bro, read the comments. They're all good, and nothing in Barstool history has ever been like 100% received well." And he's still like, "Nope, not doing it," because there will be one. And I was like, "There's not even one. There's literally not even one."
No, I say keep it up, dude. Don't read them, bro. I'm trying.
It doesn't make me happy by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not in a better headspace. You're just like well adjusted, but I do feel better about my work.
Yeah,
which doesn't really translate to actual happiness, but like, I have felt better about my work for the last.
It probably energizes you. That shit is exhausting, dude. Reading comments and put it like inputting people's opinion into your like how you see yourself is like that is an exhausting practice.
I've said it a million times ad nauseum on the show. Like I really feel like the human brain is not conditioned to have that much stimuli from that many people.
Totally.
If you think about like if you go out to like a bar or a party and you have an incident, let's say, where like one person didn't like you, right? Like you forgot somebody's name, you embarrassed yourself, you whatever, you said like, "Oh, I don't like people who do this," and that was one of those people. And it's like one person, you're like, "Oh fuck, I get fucked up." That one, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you're stressing over one, and then you go on the internet and gladly let like thousands of people, hundreds of people just tell you what they think, and you do it to yourself.
And you value their opinion.
More, almost more than other people.
I've noticed myself like, and again, it's the last 3 weeks. It's a very small sample size, but even like doing more things and whereas I used to kind of shelter myself and put my shit off because I was like, I don't want to read the feedback on it. I'm like, well, I'm not going to read it anyway, so who cares? Yeah. Like the blog I wrote last night, I would have never written that blog, but I wrote it because I was like, fuck it. Cause I was like, someone might get mad about this. Like, I won't even know if they got mad about it. I don't fucking care.
Right.
And
that's awesome.
It is.
And that's when you realize it's like, and then when you realize there's no, like if you bury your head in the sand, but people are, I don't know, writing articles and there's like actually a tangible response to it, then it's like, I don't know, you have to address that. Yeah. But those things don't happen. It just stays on Twitter with a bunch of fucking nobodies. So it's like you don't even have to address it. Right. You decide how much that. So what do you think of this? I think the time is probably here to finally have a talk with like the New York people who are staying. Because I feel like a lot of people are like, what's happening? I'm nervous, whatever. And I want to like, let people know we got some things in the works and it's all going to be fine.
Facts.
And I wanted to challenge people and myself at the forefront of it to just get off Twitter.
To quit?
To quit Twitter. It's literally useless. Like it does not promote your blogs well. It does not promote your videos well. You do not go viral and gain followers. None of that. If you take all your time and effort that you're putting onto Twitter and you put it onto TikTok, take those same thoughts and either say them or write them on TikTok. Whatever you do, just put it on TikTok.
No, I fuck with that.
Gain followers, you will you'll just be better off in your career.
Totally.
Or the one thing I've been saying is I think Twitter is good for information. So when I do 1 Minute Man and shit, I want to find out what's the topics. So I made a second account. I followed everybody that I needed to follow. I locked my account so you can't even follow me if you wanted to.
Oh, you got a ghost account?
Yeah, I don't tweet from it. I just have a timeline, and I'll use that for like, okay, this is going viral. Let me go make a video about it. But I can't engage in it. I can't, even if I were to tweet, nobody knows what it is. Because I do think there's some value as a tool, but I don't have any mentions, so I can't reply to that person. I can't, even if I want to quote tweet someone, no one's gonna. It's just blasting it off into the abyss. It would be.
It's
pointless.
also been like fucking shelled beyond belief. Like Twitter does not look or feel like it ever used to.
Used to be fun.
And it's a wonder that fucking Elon Musk got to outer space. If he tinkers with every one of his companies the way that he tinkers with Facebook, like
you gotta think
Twitter,
that that's not the way he does it, right? Like this is his play toy.
Yeah.
And like with SpaceX and shit, he was on point, and they just dicks around with Twitter.
Right. He wants to like
right?
be like a mechanic working on cars, and he has no
Hands
idea
on.
how cars work.
Yeah, that's actually a great analogy.
But I'm
like,
out because I'll even spend like multiple days on like not tweeting. I'll be like, man, I fucking probably should, because I think that there is some of this baked in like guilt of like I need to be like posting online, like I need to be getting this shit up online.
I got into the feeling with Twitter where like when I was still like checking mentions and stuff, and like I wouldn't tweet until like 10 a.m. And then people would be like, "Oh, just getting up," and I was like, "I don't like people thinking that like this is my like it's the first thing I do. I don't like people knowing my daily routine through my social actions."
If you
and shit
don't
like that.
tweet during a game, you're not watching them.
Yeah.
If you didn't tweet,
you haven't
during an
tweeted
event,
about like fucking Colorado football all year.
now you can't watch. It's like
what?
But I used to like let those fake rules determine something. So I would be like, let me say something about the game right now, so people know that I'm watching. Who the fuck are these people, and why the fuck do you care? But what I would say is, I do think having a little bit, I wouldn't call it guilt, but I think having a healthy, I should post online is good, because that's what we do for a living.
To it.
But just do it on fucking TikTok instead.
And I will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wean off, because it is like a drug.
Yeah.
Social media, you have these reward systems in your brain from it. So I'm going to wean off of Twitter and get harder into TikTok. But you're asking me to wean off of weed, a soft drug, and get hard into heroin, the most pure distilled social media that's going to go.
I kind of disagree with that though, because when I go on Instagram, I post shit, and maybe I'll read some comment sections, but you don't. There's no arguing on
you're
Instagram.
Saying Instagram. So
yeah,
not
I
just
think Instagram,
TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
So you find Instagram
I think there's
valuable.
value in Instagram. I think TikTok is by far the best, but I will admit, like, people our age, our demo, it's not quite the best, the fit. But I think there's value in Instagram and TikTok. Make a video. It's mostly video. It's like, do videos. Make people want to watch shit. You can monetize that. You can sell that.
Totally.
And I really, if I had enough power, and if this was like allowed somehow, I would be like, if you tweet more than like 5 times a day, you get like penalized here. You get docked pay. You lose an opportunity. It's literally making you a worse employee.
What Twitter used to be fun for was just like brain dumping, like the stupidest things that like bubbled up, and you could just like dump them out, and like your friends would read them, and like maybe they go viral.
I used to use it. It was great for the blog. It was like, send a tweet, inspire some conversation. And I'd be like, man, what was a great video game was this? And people would be like, bro, level 5 was amazing. And I remember this boss, and I couldn't do that. And I would be like, this is all a blog that I can, put all this into writing, and we could sell ads, and that's a good thing.
So I saw one pull up the other day, and it's like such a like the different, it's all different times and stuff like that. It's from Skip Bayless, 09. I guess we know Chris Brown's favorite sport now, soccer.
God damn.
That's a bar, though.
And he probably was on ESPN at the time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
ESPN.
Bro, you get arrested now.
Yo, for
you
real.
get fucking
What?
arrested.
God
you get flogged on air. It was like it was.
You could get away with some shit.
Yeah,
It
dude,
was fun.
like Skip Bayless.
That's some
like,
heartless shit. That's cold, but it was fun too. You could get some of
Yeah.
these jokes off. Some of these thoughts. I mean,
But that's what I was saying
Mark
that to
Norman
say-
says that on stage, and the crowd goes ooh ah and laughs, and it's a great comedy bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You.
Soccer.
I think actually what happened with Twitter is, in a sense, what happened with Barstool, where like you lived in both worlds of just comedy and just serious. Or like you blended the two worlds of comedy and serious, and then like that for a while that was a good thing, and then I think it became a bad thing because it was just like people don't know how to take it. Like I was telling you, I was on the rundown yesterday, and I was like fucking saying a joke about the Angel Reese shit, and like. We was on with Smitty, and Smitty was like, I'm not laughing at this. Like, he wasn't trying to hide his laughter. He literally wasn't laughing. He's like, I'm not laughing at this. I'm not laughing at this. I was like, dude, we're just fucking around making a joke. I'm not giving an actual take on fucking Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. I'm just fucking, we're having fun here.
Disavowing though. Probably.
Yeah. And it was like, I think there's like a part of that where like,
You don't need to do that
when
either.
you could float, you could kind of get away with everything. And now I think the idea of floating has been lost on the internet where like everything's taken seriously.
Well,
It's
that's
like, no, I'm just fucking
people
around.
are
Here.
like, you know, why should I listen to you like a blogger on this serious topic? And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm mostly a clown, but also I have some legitimate thoughts. And no, you don't have to take me seriously, but I'm gonna talk about different things. You know?
Also
and
think
sometimes
that-
I'm serious, sometimes I'm not.
A benefit of TikTok is that like you can pick up nuance from how somebody says something. Like if you read
Yes,
something, there is
totally.
no nuance. Like if someone's joking, being like, "She's a freaking scumbag," like
Yeah.
you're like laughing about it. When you transcribe everything, that's when everything looks crazy, and that's what's going on Twitter.
We did an interview with Kevin Heffernan from Super Troopers and his new movie coming out with the Broken Lizard guys, Quasi, and he was talking about Brian Cox on the set of Super Troopers 2. Because they had to get him back in the mix, and he's
Right.
an older guy and successful, and he was like, I don't do night times anymore. I don't shoot at night.
That's
So
right.
they were like, he was like, we had to film. There was one night scene, and we had to put him up with the Four Seasons. And we had to get him in and out. But Kevin's telling the story, laughing, and it was kind of jokey, and so it was funny. But if you read the same thing, like Brian Cox, refuses to shoot at night, and like, it was a diva
looks like an
on set.
asshole,
It's
yeah.
like, oh, you're a jerk. But he's telling the story, and it's like, oh, it was more like, fuck you old, you young kids. I'm an old man. I don't shoot at night anymore. And it's funny, but
Yeah.
there was tone to it and nuance.
But you just
and-
call
and-
a girl a scumbag piece of shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's like you're gonna look.
Can't even do that,
Yeah, if you said it out loud, tongue in cheek, literally, like it'll be
Yeah.
taken as tongue in cheek,
right.
which it actually
so,
was.
Get on TikTok, bro. it does feel like just a wasted out, like a missed opportunity, though. It's just like so many people. And it's primarily like my fault. Like the OGs spent so much time on Twitter. I think everybody
Stuff to
joins in.
change.
And also on Barstool, we are a Twitter company. You join Barstool, you get like 50,000 followers off the rip, like boom, and all of a sudden you're like,
Yeah.
I got this. But it's
But it's not hard to get
useless, dude.
50,000 on TikTok either, bro.
Chuck posted about the other day. Jeff Nadeau has just been posted on TikTok for like 2 weeks, 50K.
Yeah.
Like that's
Should
a
have
great
I
start,
mean,
man.
like,
That's
Paz works on the fucking Pat Bev show. Like, dude, that's at like 200,000 followers within 25 episodes of the show.
like
That's
like
crazy.
it's like
if
growing
everybody does
insanely
that,
fast.
yeah.
This show is brought to you by Betterhelp. Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing and changing. I am a very different person today than I was yesterday, in fact. But you could extrapolate that and go 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago, 3 years ago, 30 years ago. I have all new issues, and they're coming back tomorrow. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding, because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way we do until we talk through things. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. The journey is the reward, folks. Don't forget that. I think we've talked about therapy extensively here. We've talked about how everyone's helped it. We talked about how everyone's used BetterHelp to find their therapist, how it's the best way to do therapy so you don't have to sit in the waiting room and wonder what's wrong with everybody else, you judgmental jerk. If you're starting to think, if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. That's the important part. It is a real pain to have doctor's appointments, no matter what kind of doctor it is. So you just fill out a brief questionnaire to be matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/KFC today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/KFC.
And it's like, here's the proof. Here's how to do it. And like, I'm gonna go send 10 tweets. It's just
Right.
fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I feel like Pat Bev has. There was a time not too long ago, but I remember being like a little worried. Like I was like, this is an inflection point for this show. Like, is it gonna go, or is it gonna just be like we don't really give real opinions because we don't want to ruffle feathers and we don't, and I think he kind of like really committed to it. It feels like.
I think that
Like in
there
recent
was
months.
there's legitimacy to him not being feeling like he couldn't talk when he was on the Lakers.
Yeah.
Whether it's the Lakers tradition or like being around LeBron every day.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe
So he loosened up when he went. To Chicago. Yeah.
like in every sense of the he's like drinking Miller Lights, like talking shit, like popping shit about
Wow.
people. Like,
but he hasn't said as much. You just noticed it yourself, or he said
he said he was like, I don't want the Lakers to make the playoffs. Like they were trying to like he's like kind of giving like secrets of
No, but I'm saying he has he said now that I'm off the Lakers, I'm loosened up.
He said it before he got traded. He was like, we pointed out this inflection point to him, and we were like, hey, like we need to, you know what I mean? Like, and he's like, I need to get out of LA. He was like
That's
very
crazy.
blunt about this. Is like in
Yeah.
mid-December. He's like, I gotta get out of LA. Like, and I mean, a couple months later, and he made the best of it while he was in LA. He was positive. He even embraced the social media for when LeBron was breaking the scoring record. Like, he was like filming him on the bench or whatever.
saw that.
So he ramped his shit up. But also, he's in a better situation now. He's more influential. He can talk more. He's at home in Chicago. But I think there was that point. But I mean, it is such like a young show, like it's 25 episodes in.
yeah.
Like it's very, very.
And also-
new.
There is that point with not point, but there is that issue, I guess, with when we hire athletes, because you can go one of two ways. You can go like, look, I've been the king forever. I don't give a fuck about this company. I'm me.
Yep.
And we've had athletes who did that, and
Yes.
it
Doesn't work.
didn't work out so well. And then you have the Bussins, the Chicklets, and it's like, oh, just come and like be one of the boys. And I think Pat Bev's very much done that in Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in
Yeah.
Chicago office. It feels like
He's just pounding
I mean,
around in the
and he
office.
like he clowns on them for being big boys. And he hopped on the rundown the other day with me and Dave, mostly bantering with Dave, and he was like, he's good at like towing the line, still being a professional.
You
but
can see
knows
why
how
he's a
to
good
make-
teammate in a locker room. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can see why he's chilling. Even on the pod that came out yesterday, he started off whispering. He's like, "Yo, Eddie can't park." I saw Eddie like go 3 times trying to parallel park, and
We're
he
gonna
just
turn
pulled
this
away.
man into a little fucking gossip queen diva like the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if he's gonna be at the Chicago office or whatever, but he's gonna be mixing it up with like fucking Big T or whatever.
That's fucking great. No, that's and what's cool about your show, it'll be seasonal because meaning that like every year a new basketball season starts, it will
And
galvanize
it's a 40-week
again,
contract
and-
too. So like, I mean, there's 52 weeks in a year. So there's that 12-week like kind of lull where it's like it would be nice to be able to take that lull mentally, but also the show can ramp back
That's
up.
another thing. I think the horse is out of the barn on this one, but I long have said I think we should have seasons as podcasts, like every other fucking thing in the world. And I think there's this inherent fear, again, do as you say and as I do, because I feel like if we stop doing this show and you start listening to Rone and Pat Bev, you're never going to go back to my show. And I worry about that, so I don't do it. But if we were to take a month off and there's a season finale that we hype up big and a season premiere that we hype up big and we clear our heads and
I mean, look at Sunday Conversation. Like that's
Yeah,
like
right.
that
That's a great
happens
point.
periodically. You know what I
Like,
mean? There's
whenever
a
it
certain
does, it
time of
does.
the year that it happens. It happens throughout football season. It crushes. It lives on social while it's not happening, and when it comes back, it's fucking huge.
Yeah, I remember YP got burned real bad on that one. I mean, he did a couple of dummy things that we know about, but Dave was like, "Where's your fucking show? You haven't put anything out in 3 months." And he was like, "I'm filming it. I'm editing it. It comes out in the summer or whatever the fuck it was."
Right.
And it was just like, "No, that's not how this works.
Put it out now.
You know.
Get your phone. This is your most powerful tool.
We don't need all that." Like, well, I'm trying to film like sharks
yeah,
off the
film
coast
a
of Costa
shark.
Rica, man. Like, what do you want me to do,
You're just
dude?
there with your phone camera, fucking filming sharks in a cage. Hilarious.
Yeah, that would be. I think there's a few things that I would like to change that I don't think we will be able to change, but I think there's some things that we.
Oh yeah, you got to start having like all hands meetings or some
I'm
shit.
trying,
fucking,
man. I guess so. I guess.
lead us.
So how? Well, let me ask you this: did you see the blog Feitelberg wrote about the company outing thing?
the putt shit.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So hilarious. There's got to be a guy on the last chopper out of Saigon is one of the greatest blog lines literally ever written. And also, I think people don't appreciate the funniness of I've listened to Dave talk about delivery papers too long. That's a great. Those are right together. I was like, those are two of the greatest blog lines ever smashed in.
Yeah,
in one
hilarious.
spot.
And I think that like there's an imbalance number-wise with people who are not only newer than like old Barstool, but more corporate, and like there's so many of them that like your old Barstool personality has to be so big to like counterbalance that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got to walk around being an asshole, fucking trying to make up for the
but it's
the
like
new
you have
shit.
to keep it real. Like you have to like be like, hey, like don't do that.
Yeah. so that was going to be my question. Like, do you think? Because the other thing I hate is, it's like, when people make fun of small talk on a conference call. It's like, oh, we're going to talk about the weather, right? It's like the only thing worse than the small talk is the guy who like refuses to engage in the small talk. It's like, just do it because that's what we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just go through the motions.
Yeah.
Like, is there a part of when you're this size of a company, you're just going to have some HR people that do some goofy shit and let's not have a conniption over it? Or is it worth being like, listen, we're the New York office. We want to get back to old Barstool.
Right.
Like good Barstool, the best of the new with the best of the old. We're not going to do this corny shit. We're not going to do this Twitter shit. We're going to do things this way, blah, blah, blah. Is that realistic, you think?
I think that you need cultural pillars within Barstool to like hold it down and be like, hey, this is like what it is. And I think that like even guys like Jack Mack, I think that like you could say what you want about his politics. People have opinions both ways. People love it, people hate it. But like he is a cultural pillar of Barstool, like in that like
I gotta throw the flag.
Bro, check this out.
Cultural pillar.
Check this out though. Listen, so at the end of the day, from like 4 o'clock when everybody leaves until like 7:30, he's chilling at his desk area. And there's like conversations that happen, and people crowd around, and people are hanging out, and it feels culturally like an office setting. Totally. And it's like you need people who will like be around a lot, bust balls, stir the pot, determine what the culture is, make fun of what people are saying, be able to take when people make fun of what they're saying. Like that, I think that there needs to be people who like say like, hey, this is how we do it, or like be a like pillar, a presence that's like there throughout things. And it doesn't always have to be the same thing. It could be someone who's been like upstairs for a long time, like somebody like Quiggs and like Greer and shit like that. I think
that
like
quirky humor.
Yeah, I think that they like.
I'll say this: all these names you're listing are people who reached out to me last night, being like, "Thank you."
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Funny.
You know what I mean? It's like people who like understand what the culture is, and like I think that those are people who like you drop them in, and that like wears off or like emanates from them. Like I think that's
why
important.
we've been hiding in our studio for 5 years now, and we're talking about redoing out there.
Got to do that
and making it a place where you can hang out.
This has to be a rule when people go to Chicago, bro. They need to take everything off their desk, dude. You cannot leave a fucking like bombs like you can't leave a scene behind. Like you need to have your shit cleaned up, or we're throwing it out,
dude. For real, there's so much like wasted space. There's so much just nonsense.
It doesn't serve its purpose.
No,
like
at
it
all.
doesn't serve.
Well, when we were like sit down and blog,
Right.
it made sense. Now it's like we need to be able to talk and film and play a game while we get a person to open up or
It's just a receptacle
whatever.
for people's free clothes.
But part of me, like I remember thinking, I want to do, I want there to be a certain culture, and I want people to act a certain way that I think is conducive to everybody benefiting. And then right away, that Mean Girls and Kelly Keegan shit happened, and I was like, I can't control any of this. Nobody gonna listen to me, you know. Like,
I think making them talk to each other or making them be on the same program would have been the main thing that could have like used leadership could have been used in that way to be like, hey, she said this, like you two have to talk about it, because there was like there was never a confrontation. I don't think have ever talked to each other.
That's also where I think, I reached out to the Mean Girls, and they were kind of like I'm not their boss, you know what I mean? Like nobody here is going to be anybody's boss.
Well, why don't they just make you their boss then?
Well, you know.
You know what I mean? I think that there's I don't think I don't fucking love authority, but I see the value sometimes in like having like a pecking order or some shit like that.
I had texted Alex being like, yo, let's talk about this. I just want to check in, see how you're doing. And she was kind of like, I'm good. And I was like, I don't think you're getting what I'm saying. Like, we're talking about this, Yeah. But I'm really not in a position to make anybody do anything.
Why not?
They're not doing that
But Dave
to
would
me.
be able to, right?
Dave is a boss,
but he doesn't anymore. So
I know you would think there would be.
So it's
you would think there
either
would be some idea of like, let's make somebody or some show or something in an official capacity. They're just not doing that. It's crazy.
But like,
and that's how you end up with no like
but
leadership or
can't you
culture.
almost
and you end up
seize
with,
that?
with golf fucking. What?
I can't
what
tell.
Just
Is a leg asleep? Is a back thrown out, or were you throwing up?
This is the groin you tore from sleeping.
I think I pulled my groin last night in my sleep. I'm not trying to distract. I like what we're talking about. I just had to throw away my.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, I couldn't tell which end it was coming out of. Did you have to shit? Were you throwing
There's about to be
up?
something bad. I don't know
Your
what.
legs about to fall off.
I think we would have benefited very much from, and whether it's me or not me, I mean, I think I make sense for it. But if they wanted to go with someone else, fine,
It's
whatever.
not that though.
But
I
it
think you
needs
just have
be
to seize.
somebody.
I think you just need to seize it, and like, cause Dave is not going to be like, hey, here is the baton.
Totally.
Like there's never going to
But
be
you-
that
yeah, I
ceremony
guess
or
so.
fucking like a formal like email or some shit like that. You just have to be like, hey, like you got to come on this show or whatever.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess. You think if we were to just do that,
If
that
there's
people would
Barstool
reply?
Radio, people have to come on, right?
Right. Yeah.
Or
yeah,
like
yeah.
you have 30 minutes or like.
But even that, I don't know. Like it was, I was almost like Dave says you have to come on. You know, it wasn't like a Barstool Radio rule. It was like a Dave rule sort of thing. But I guess if we just do it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm afraid of being like, yo, here's the deal. Like you can't be on Twitter and you have to come on your show and make a TikTok. And then someone goes no, and I go. Okay. Well, what?
It's like when
I can't dock your pay. I can't suspend you. It's just like, okay, never mind.
when Michael's out of the office and Jim's in charge, and like they're co-managing.
Yeah.
And
Like,
and Jim's like trying to fire Ryan, and Pam's like, "Can you fire?" He's like, "I don't know."
That's what I mean. It's like, and talking and doing this doesn't help. Like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's a pussy about it all.
I
but-
think people should really like, even if you work here, like I think you should kind of realize like your kind of responsibility to the game. Like don't cheat the game.
Yeah,
Like don't
yeah.
like fucking run from
Well,
like the fucking game. Like you like
commit to doing like what. Well,
Just
that's almost what I
do
want to
it.
be like. Is I've been here for 15 years and I know what works and what doesn't work. Sometimes I'm not saying I did it all and I always succeeded, but I can tell you what I did wrong and did right, and I can tell you wasting a decade on Twitter, not a good idea.
Yeah,
Like
I
I'm
mean,
not telling
I
you
built
can't,
some
but I'm
shit,
telling
but-
you, look, it was not a good use of my time.
at this point, yeah, and it's definitely not for the next decade. Like if you project a
sure,
decade, like
yeah.
that's a
It's
bad
only
decision.
worse, yeah.
But like I think the first person to like tell like Barstool no in that content way was I think call her daddy.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we're not going to come in every day.
Right.
You have to be in every day. It's like, no,
Nope.
we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But I think other people.
That was
see
also, they had the goods.
People think that they have the goods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't think anybody does.
Nobody's got that. Yeah.
Even I thought like it would have like been, I mean, helpful for Barstool and maybe helpful for them if they had played ball and some of the shit that people
Totally.
remember the most.
Well,
Like
that's
you're
why-
talking about the Tommy Smoke shit last episode of this show. you know what
Right,
I mean?
right, yeah. I think like you look at Brianna, who is basically Call Her Daddy 2.0, maybe like a tier below, but is involved in
younger.
everything.
So
yeah, young,
there's
like
more of a
but,
upside to do
but
that.
is still, a part of everything and
The
respectful.
most
to
dangerous
us
game
and-
show, like
right,
was like
out
there was
living
like
in the fucking
cockroaches.
woods. I remember I told her flat out, I was like, "You don't have to do that anymore." Like, I love that you're doing this, but god damn, you don't have to. So like, how the fuck are there people out there who are gonna like say no to something or be like, "No, that's not me," when goddamn the biggest newest superstar on the planet is like, "Yeah, I'll go to the outing or whatever the fuck,"
What do you think, John?
I agree with that very wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who, and like we've kind of said before, where you get to the point where you're like, well, I got hired by ESPN. Like, but if 15, 20 years ago, whatever you told me I got hired by ESPN, I'd be like, I fucking made it, dude. I'm good.
Yeah.
And
right.
like,
This is the new. You mean so?
what
Someone gets hired
Barstool
here, and you're
has
like, I'm
become
good.
like, it's like, all right, they think I'm worth it, so like you immediately get this level of ego where you're like, okay, and you know what? No, I'm coming back around on that because like, if you got hired by ESPN, you're still gonna go fucking work.
Yeah, you want to.
There's a lot of people-
They
you
say to
wanna-
go and get up and first take. Like, I bet you're gonna be there.
No, I don't know why I said it that way. I completely misspoke. There's so many people now. I mean, it is. I think Dave said before where he's like, in one of his rants at the company. I don't think it was a public rant where he's like, just so everyone knows, there are 8 people here who make this company money.
Yeah.
I think that number's expanded. I don't think the ratio has.
That's a good point.
Where like
Yeah.
I think it's
And
more
for
than
everybody that has started to make money. There's probably way more that are not,
right.
or
It's
the same
the
amount.
same percentage
Yeah.
of people, and like I don't get how if you're not in that percentage And there are people who are trying, and I love those people.
Totally.
Like, they're awesome.
But
right?
the people who just
and then
don't
there are
seem to
so
care.
many who are like, and then it's like, and you get an offer. You get an offer like, yo, come do this show, and you're like, nah. Like, what are you talking about,
Dude, when people say no to me, I'm like, we're not the fucking Joe Rogan experience, but it's bigger than what you're doing. Come
I don't
on
even
the
mean
show.
doing it on a podcast. I mean being on Most Dangerous Game. I mean doing something like that.
Totally, yeah,
Like,
all
it
that
is-
extra shit.
Yeah.
But even just something as simple as like, hey, you want to come on and talk about that? Like, oh, I don't know. It's like, what the fuck are you doing here then?
Yeah, why would you not? Or it's I don't
But
know.
you know what? It also is like you can lead a horse to water sort of thing, and I want the people who are gonna drink. I'm not gonna try to.
And I think it's also
force it.
important that like you guys still do so much. You know what I mean? Like Big Cat does like a lot. Like PFT does a lot. Like these people who are like in that like making people.
Yo,
money.
don't tell me you don't have enough time in the day. You know what I
Right,
mean? 'Cause
like
there are
it-
people out here who have
It's
way
almost
more
like,
shit than you.
Yeah, leading by example. Like you need to show the people around you that like it is possible to like do a lot of shit and like it's not gonna hurt you. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be good for you. It's gonna be good for the company. It will make you more money. It will like satisfy all these like social media metrics that you want to hit. Like that shit is all possible. Like there's no reason to run from the grind.
All right, well then, last thing.
Spring is coming. So that means summer is coming. That means you need to manscape. You're going to be at the beach in bikinis. I don't know why I touched the ladies first, but whatever. You need to clean it up too, honey. Gentlemen, you need to have your no, I don't know why I keep wanting to say bikini. What is the thing you call men wear? Bathing suits. You need to have your bathing suit line trimmed up and looking nice as well, like a beautifully groomed hedge at the front of a gorgeous yard. That is your penis. Manscaped has long had elite downfield play with their Lawnmower 4.0, but in 2023, they have the rookie sensation, the Beard Hedger. To ensure the face of your franchise is a pretty one, we're talking peen. The Beard Hedger and Lawnmower 4.0 are a franchise-changing combo that will have you looking at your roster with pride. With all that RPM power, the lawnmower is still the most nimble on the field with the skin-safe technology that reduces nicks and snags while making the right cuts of hair. Again, I actually, this is a life-changing thing. When I used to trim my pubes with my father's razor, if we're being totally honest, not razor, trimmer, it looked like I covered my penis in whatever snakes eat, and then shoved that into a terrarium, and got bit by a lot of snakes. I had little pock marks or whatever you call them all over the pubic region. But with the lawnmower and the skin-safe technology, that no longer happens to me. You've done the dirty work. Now it's time to make sure you look good with the powerful cordless Beard Hedger and its 20 positions of precision. With titanium blades and single-stroke efficiency, the Beard Hedger helps you customize your look using a rotary wheel with 20 lengths. 20 lengths? That's so many lengths. There are like 2 lengths of pubes. There's pubes and no pubes. If you haven't upgraded your grooming tools already, head to manscaped.com for a champion-worthy roster reset. Get 20% off and free shipping with code KFC at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code KFC. Go from Mr. Irrelevant to a first-round pick with Manscaped.
Here, what do I got to do to get you rapping more?
Bro,
How
I just
are
did
we
a rap
gonna-
battle.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I guess bad timing on that front, but you are your greatest God-given gift.
Damn, I should
is
rap
being
more.
able to fucking rap.
Yeah, I have
It's
like,
I tell people all the time, if I could freestyle or I could rap, I'd be the most insufferable person in the world because we couldn't even have a conversation. You'd be like, "Hi,
You'd be like
what's up?"
Harry
I'd be like,
Mack.
yeah, I would not speak. I would only rap. It's I remember when you did wrap up every Friday for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that shit's hard, and I'm sure it's not easy. But you don't think that right now on TikTok, a verse about everything that happened this week, or a few bars about Donald Trump getting indicted while Angel Reese is making fun of Caitlin Clark wouldn't fucking smash?
Yeah, I agree with that. I am sensitive to like being like corny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm afraid of that and of like the negative feedback, especially because like if you're corny or like making jokes or whatever, it's like okay, that's a corny joke. Like that's a thing. But like,
what do you mean corny? Like
if you're
because
a
it's not like a
musician-
hard rap bar.
Yeah, or like someone just being like, look at this, like I don't know,
Like
it's
a
like
gimmick or something.
yeah, like
I-
this try hard white boy who's like trying to like thinks he's like I
Yeah.
and I shouldn't have that, and I
Because
don't value that perspective that I have of myself, but it is a true perspective that I have. I'm like I don't want to be like
I get that, but like the way you'd be doing it, just knowing your talent level, like when you do Bird, you know
the Bird Gang, yeah.
I was about to say gangbang. I'm all mixed up. Like those are bars. Those are raps where it's like you're
Yeah,
working
yeah.
in those Philly references and there's kind of double meanings and it's like
wordplay and
oh
stuff
shit
like that.
if you're really listening. So if you're doing like that level of quality, clever wordplay, even if it's about some like flavor of the
shit.
moment shit,
Yeah.
it'll be
This-
like oh that was a bar.
This probably flies in the face of what Kevin wants, but I do very much get that because like it's almost like you get those tags and eventually they become just you lose it. But it was like podcasting was so embarrassing for a while and blogging was so embarrassing for a while, and I think a SoundCloud rapper and it's like oh no he's a TikTok rapper.
Yeah.
It seems like you don't want that kind of.
I also just need to look at it more as like a healthy hobby that I have. You know what I mean? It's not
look
like,
at it as there's talent that you're not maximizing. You know.
That's true.
It's
That's
like
true too.
it's like if you could play an instrument and you don't, or you could play a sport and you don't.
But it's like I don't think so. It's like if it's an instrument, like every guy who like loves guitar, even if they're like sick at it, like they don't have to be making like top 40 hits
True.
to be
True,
a good
true.
guitarist. Even if it results in you going on tour, like whatever we do
It could
pop
just be
punk
a hobby
shows.
that you do.
PFT's sick at guitar. It's still a hobby for
True.
him. You know what I mean? So
but
I think
okay,
it can even satisfy
so
that.
find your version of pop punk then. Doesn't have to be a weekly rap, but maybe
And I
it's
think
a,
pop punk
a
is like-
quarterly.
It's like a
song or
mental cop out for me in some ways when I'm like, oh, it's like a parody. When it's like, you know what I mean? I'm joking. You know what I mean? That's like I can kind of like hide under the shroud of that. But I do just need to stop being a pussy and like just fucking because I have like tons of. I used to love going to the studio when I was in Philly. I spent so much time.
Not to
I'm
mention that content alone.
Yeah.
Like just do a vlog of that, and that can be your content. Or I
Why
mean,
don't we get a studio here?
you want a studio?
nah.
if we
Nah.
if we put a booth in right over there.
It would be funny. I mean,
I know
You may have heard we're redecorating the studio soon.
like
wood panel, maybe?
If you well, you when was that EP? Now it was a little while ago.
it was my
Steak,
30th
right?
birthday, so I mean, I'm turning 35 this month.
Yeah, so that was a while ago. So that just doesn't jump out to you to like make original music,
I have
like
enough.
original
I could
songs
put out
right now?
Steak 2 like in a month if I just mastered like the songs I have. I just don't. It's just like the mental block of
I'm
not
gonna
putting
kill
out
him.
like of like not putting it out or like you know what I mean. And it's a very pussy thing to do, but like not wanting to like throw it into the arena to be like judged and like critiqued or whatever. Because like
what did we start off this show talking about?
I know I'm a pussy. I'm like I completely like.
Let's be about it.
That's why I'm asking. I'm like studying Feitelberg. I'm like, how do I rewire my brain so I'm not in the feedback loop of like seeking approval of other people?
But isn't
and
it so crazy, dude? You're literally a fucking rap battle champion of the world multiple times.
Yeah.
You are a featured MC for the Pat Stay pay-per-view. You're like so nobody's gonna call you corny and
It's not a rewiring of the brain. It's just you just bury your head in the sand.
Yeah. Honestly, just don't look
But
or don't.
also, I mean, we don't even have anything that can compare to like the level that you've proven it, like that you are not corny. That like, and I think you have enough respect in the rap game that people would be like, oh, that's what Rone's doing now. Maybe it's not a fucking Kendrick Lamar deep album. It's a fucking rap every week or whatever. But it's like you are proven in the rap game.
Yeah. I mean, this is good. This is the kind of like
I'm
kick in
gonna
the ass that I
hound
need.
you
know what
until
I mean?
you do something with it.
All right, I'll send you some tracks. You
Too
let me
good
know
of a
which ones I
rapper.
should put out. All right.
I'll just put them out myself.
You son of a bitch.
Fucking new episode is just a rap song from Rone. Gotta do it, dude.
Fucking.
And
no, I
condolences
appreciate
on your
it.
dog, by the way, man.
Thank you, dude.
That was a tough scene.
Yeah, that shit fucking sucked.
Yeah,
dude. That shit was
that's what I
fucking
mean, man. Life just
brutal,
you know,
dude.
it's like you never had experienced the loss of a puppy because it never happened, and now.
Yeah, I
life
got
continues to
a
happen.
dog within 6, but my first dog I ever got, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, dude, I have the opposite of the Midas touch, bro. I fucking touch a dog and
scene.
die, bro. My boys are dying, my dogs are dying, bro. This shit is depressing as hell, bro. I want to hang out with me.
No, you are one of the fucking kings here, and I think you're gonna be a big part of New York too. We've said that before, and I really mean it. So,
Appreciate you guys.
and Son of a Boy Dad, I think I've noticed like a
Dude,
a change
Little
in, like-
Sasquatch is gonna be like a super famous comedian.
Yeah,
like,
he really is.
Full stop. Like, this shit's gonna happen. I mean, it might take 5 years, but like, he's like so funny, cares so much, works so hard, like
doing it right,
studies so hard,
going
like,
through Barstool Sports, other comedians.
you know what I mean? Like, he's gonna be such a stud. Like I don't. It's not a penny stock by any means, but like buy
Buy
in
now.
on
Yeah.
Son of a Boy Dad, because like this shit is like only
Yeah.
getting better. He's
But
getting
you
funnier,
guys
he's
are
getting more
you're doing
comfortable.
social better. You're producing it better. Like it's just you're taking it more seriously. It
Yeah,
feels
Nick's
like
been helping a lot with that shit.
yeah,
too,
and that
you know
makes
what
a
I mean?
big difference, man. It really does, and you can tell already.
But shout out
so.
to Tyler and Mook who just grind on that shit. Bro.
If you got Son of a Boy Dad, Pat Bev, something with music, pop punk, and just like your natural, go out and make a video, do a vlog, Storm Chase, whatever comes next, like you'll have a full ass resume and
that's
career
what I
right
mean.
there,
Bro, like there's like we do the Yak every day, like. And I love the Yak so much, but I welcome the new creative like control that I'll have without those like sometimes
That
10
time.
hours
guys-
a week in the middle of the
That 10
day.
hours a week is a lot when
To-
it's
to be
not
on, to be
yeah,
just talking.
yeah, and also that means you can't go anywhere an hour before, an hour and after, because you know what I mean. Like,
Right.
it frees up
To
your day,
anchor
frees
in
up
the
your
day.
time. Yeah, for sure.
Are you guys gonna do a yak? We can cut this too if you want. But are you guys gonna have like a yak type thing once they leave? Are you
I
guys
don't
gonna
know.
do a daily?
I don't know. I was talking with Francis about that, and we can keep it in. I don't mind.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we
'cause I-
should figure something out on that front.
There's not
'Cause
an
I do think
answer.
having a radio,
But something like that, we
of
were
some
talking
sort.
about it. But like whether it's rotating or certain like the same people, and we're trying to figure out ways that we could differentiate it, but also and add some structure, but like a loose structure. You know what
Yeah.
I mean, where it still lends itself
it's
to
hard.
freewheeling
In a
conversation.
perfect world, it would be like somehow we all sit out there and play some pool, drink some beers, fucking pop a shot, and while we're doing those things, conversations happen. That somehow that gets broadcasted out to the world,
Right.
Because those
That's
are the
why
most
Friday Night
honest.
Pints
I know. Maybe we gotta.
That could be that thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Kelly Keegs, Mean Girls, come on Friday Night Pints, we'll
Yeah,
hash it
we'll
out.
hash
You know
it
what I
out,
mean?
yeah.
Like I think that
We have an idea for Friday Night Pints type deal that I think we're gonna do.
That is just one that it has to work. It's like it. If it doesn't work, then people just don't like us or something.
Yeah.
Because the format and it just makes sense. I think we just got to do it, and I think having the right people and a little bit of freedom, like you said, with some of the people moving around, I think it'll all be there.
It's
just
a
gotta do
Friday afternoon show, but it would be like it could come up Friday night, the one we talked about last week.
Yeah.
I think there will be something to replace Friday Night Pints and it won't be called that. But at Barstool. But I'd like some kind of, like you were saying too, like if we could find out some way to have a daily type thing, because there is shit that like it's like fuck we gotta talk about today. It's like, well, it's Thursday, new podcast doesn't come out till Tuesday,
Right,
It's
and that
like-
shit is dead by then.
right,
you know?
right.
some kind of
Yeah,
anchor.
that live element is
Another
important.
thing that I want to shout out: Dollar Slices of Life.
Yeah.
The live comedy show that that Owen does in the city. I think that there is like unlimited upside on potential if Barstool New York is going to be like a comedy thing, doing live shows and like. I mean, I don't know if this is realistic or you guys have thought about this, but like having a comedy club or some shit like that was like
Believe me, I've thought about it,
downstairs
man.
or some shit like that would just
Definitely.
be
But
like
once
so-
Caroline
Were you-
closed the other day, I was like, a couple months ago now, I was like, there's kind of a void there. The only thing I've heard is like, I'm thinking about, well, we'll do it this way, and maybe we'll pay better, and we'll have this, and we'll have that, and people will want to hang out, and then they'll go on stage, and it'll be like a real cultural place for comedy and maybe music, and just enter, hanging out, and then everyone's like, cool. It turns into like running a bar and running a restaurant where you're just worried about like the margins on your chicken fingers and shit
Yeah.
like that, and you got to worry about insurance.
But
you got to worry
but
about
the
this
people
and
who
that.
say that don't work for a company that fucking pisses money away.
We open bars like this. Yo. We run the bar, bro. We got that on lock.
You know what's crazy when they're like, yo, 90% of bars within the first year close. Ours just won't close.
Yeah. Oh no, we'll never make money.
It'll just exist.
We'll be like it'll be like our own pod of 5 employees. It doesn't make money. It's just here and it's a good time.
But I think that that's valuable because it gives a hub for people who are comedians at Barstool to perform. It gives us some type of ownership of something that we could do to curate a voice as far as comedy, and it gives people who are fans of Barstool something to do when they come to New York they can touch Barstool. It's like a tangible, you know what I mean? Like
it's something I wouldn't say by any stretch been discussed seriously, but it's something that's been discussed.
But you know what? Like the things I never even thought about was like I was talking to a comic who was kind of like other clubs are so territorial that it becomes like if you go on stage there, you don't have your regular spot anymore at my place.
Interesting.
And it's like, well, fuck, I didn't even think about having to go to war with other club owners, you know? But, you know, just things like that where it's like, oh, okay, it's not as easy as, you know, just like, oh, we'll pay good and everyone will love it. It's like, that's not really how it works, you know?
I almost think just having
I'm just saying, it would be naive to be like, we can just run a club in here.
No, I think it would be extremely hard. I think you start with a show.
Yeah.
Then you build towards something
I was thinking like
you
rent out like a loft once a month or whatever.
Totally.
You don't have the club yet.
Totally.
You're just like, but if we did, this is what it would be like, and people, you know.
I just think that
it's a long process.
Yeah,
but
it's
one that
a
we
long
can start.
process. But the fact that they're putting on shows, I think that satisfies like the building of our voice, of a brand, of like a consistent group of people. You know what I mean? There are, you know, the Comedy Cellar, Marquee Club, the Stand, like also like a notch below, super marquee club. But I don't like. I think that there is space to do different types of comedy shows, and I think if we're trying to make this into a comedy brand, I think that would be a very cool thing.
That's for sure on the table, man.
I'm not running it. I don't want to fucking run it. I know you motherfuckers aren't trying to run a fucking comedy club. But
you get the right people. That's what it's really all about. It's like delegating.
That's why I get Owen in there, bro.
Yeah,
Owen's running the show already, bro. Owen, bro. He doesn't drink. He'll be chilling. That's the main problem with bar owners. I've watched John Taffet. They're fucking getting shit faced.
All right, bro. Good
Appreciate
shit.
You guys.
Thank you very much, man.
All right, big thanks for watching. If you made it through this whole episode, that means you should be subscribed. There's so many of you out there who watch and don't subscribe, so make sure you are a KFC Radio subscriber. Make sure you get all the content when it drops. Click that button now.
I have 9 fingers. I'm still subscribed. It's that easy.